but in any case, look, we're here, we're good to go. We have a lot of acts here, side stage, ready to kick off, but I suppose it behoves me to extend a very, very genuine, sincere warm welcome to each and every one of you for turning out this holy Good Friday evening. Wet and miserable and all as it is, thank you for being with us. Your being with us means an awful lot, to be honest, because later on, probably at the interval, we will introduce you to a piece, a very, very craft piece, if you like, that has been sitting down at the back of the hall there, and that will be unveiled sometime around the middle of the show. But I want to, before we kick off proper, I have a lovely group of young people here behind me, and they're the first act of the evening. We have a number of acts, and they will be with us for about roughly, I'd say about 15, 20 minutes, and they'll give a lovely lead in to the evening. We have, as you know from some of the, I suppose, publicity, we have two featured artists tonight in Kane and Don Stiff. Nari Kane is with us, Nari Kane Quinn. She reminded me earlier that she is keen now and got to get together there. And we have a whole host of others, and as they come on we will introduce them to you. But just some housekeeping business before we kick off proper. I know that the people in the hall here know exactly where to go in the event of anything unusual happening, but just, I suppose, as the air hostesses do, I just want to remind you that the exits here at my left and on my right and down at the back of the hall, and of course there's the main entrance. And if a real rush comes in, you can come this way as well. I want you to, just for what it's worth, it'd be nice if, because the music will be, I suppose, very somber and it'll be very themed, I would wish that maybe those of you who can put your phones on silent, please do so. And those of you that can't, maybe knock it off might be an option. And if neither are, look, we're not going to lose any sleep over it, but I just want you to have a nice, relaxed evening. This is your evening, and thank you for being with us. This is your contribution to the commemorative weekend here in Abbeyknockmoy. And without further ado, I want to introduce you to four outstanding young personalities, young talent, and I want to, they deserve a lot of credit because they're the first on, and it's never easy to take on the might of Abbeyknockmoy, I would say, on a night like tonight. So I want you to be upstanding and give a warm welcome to Niamh and Ciara Fahy from over the road here, and also to Claire Kane from Bannerjarrett. Claire is John and Agnes's daughter, and Ciara and Niamh are Francis and Karen's daughters at the bridge. And then we have Aisling Delaney, that's Joe and Mary's daughter. Local talent, a wealth of talent that they bring here tonight with them. So I want to bring them on stage. Girls, come on in, and they will start the evening. said, you know, they're a rich crop of youth from the locality. The night is going to be, I suppose, a mixture of poetry, reflection, song, no dancing for anyone who wants to dance and to go elsewhere. But there's quite a lot of music and entertainment, and I want to introduce you to our next guest, no stranger, of course, to stage, and that's Nari Kane, and Nari has a song especially composed for this 1916-2016. And just want to remind you, because she may not remind you herself or tell you herself, that this song, Nari is taking this to the All-Ireland final in Kane next week, the score final. So I'd like to wish Nari everything that's good in her attempts to be first this year, because Nari, as most people in this room know, she came joint first last year. So to be the first this time alone would be a spectacular result. So Nari, come on stage.
Anyway, there's a lot that has been said about the men and women of the 1916 rising who fought and died for us, and rightly so. But there is a lot less said about the children that died in the 1916 rising so that we could have our freedom today. And I was reminded of that with when Joe Duffy brought it to life before Christmas, and that sort of gave me the idea of the song. So I hope it's okay, and I hope you like it.
Our country's bravest led
wanted me to stay on for a long time, but I'm struggling with the throat all week, so I won't stay too long and bore you. But I was trying to think what other song would I sing, and this is one that I've always liked, and I think it's appropriate for the time that we're celebrating, and it's called Song for Ireland, and I'm sure you know the words, so you can sing along with this one if you know it. Walking all the day, you tall towers where falcons build their nests. Silver winged they fly, they know the call of freedom in their so I can against the sky, where twisted rocks run down to the sea. Living on your western shore, so summer sunsets asked for more. I stood by your Atlantic sea and sang a song for Ireland. Talking all the day in old grounds where fiddlers love to play, telling jokes and news, singing songs to pass the night away. Stood on Dingle Beach and cast, and wild foam sound Atlantic past. Living on your western shore, saw summer sunsets asked for more. I stood by your Atlantic sea, sang a song for Ireland. Dreaming in the night, I saw land where no one had to fight. And waking in your dawn, I saw you crying in the morning light. Lying where the falcons fly, they twist and turn in your aerial sky. Living on your western shore, saw summer sunsets asked for more. I stood by your Atlantic sea, sang a song for Ireland, and I sang a song for Ireland.
Lovely stuff. Thank you very, very, very much. Appreciate that. Alright, we're going to move quickly on with our next feature, and we have a lovely poem, and we couldn't think of anybody better than our local men, our local I suppose you could call Francis a newspaper reporter, kind of Tribune reporter. And he's going to do a smashing poem called The Wayfarer. And for those of you that aren't familiar with it, it was the poem that Pádraig Pearse wrote the night before he was executed. The words are pretty poignant. Michael Tuttle has just joined us on stage, and I have Tara Dunn coming along. And whilst Francis is doing the poem, there'll be some nice music in the background. And when Francis has completed the poem, The Wayfarer, they will continue to do some lovely instrumental pieces. So stick with us. Armada.
Leader of the 1916 Rising, and written on May 2nd, 1916. He was executed the following day. The Wayfarer. The beauty of the world hath made me sad, this beauty that will pass. Sometimes my heart hath shaken with great joy to see a leaping squirrel in a tree, or a red ladybird upon a stalk. Our little rabbits in a field at evening, lit by a slanting sun. Our sun-green hill, where shadows drifted by. Some quiet hill, where mountain men had sown, and soon would reap, near to the gate of heaven. Our children with bare feet upon the sands of some ebbed sea, are playing on the streets of little towns in Connacht, things young and happy. And then my heart hath told me, these will pass and change, will die and be no more. Things bright and green, things young and happy, and I have gone upon my way, sorrowful.
Just a couple of jigs and then we're going to do fast ones for some reason.
Lovely stuff. Right, folks, we're going to move quickly on, and there's no need, in many ways, for the next guest to be introduced, because once he walks on stage, you know exactly who he is and what he stands for. I want you to welcome a very special Abbeyknockmoy welcome to Matt Kane and to Colm Nocton, his son-in-law, and they are just inspirational musicians and singers, and I want you to give them a round of applause.
We have no program whatsoever. That's right.
If we did, we wouldn't follow it anyway.
No. I thought it was a right to be out singing on Good Friday night. I might put pookies all around the back road and wear. I joke, you know, it's right now. I wonder what we do. You know, we'll do Dolores' song called Caledonia, wouldn't we? That's right. Yeah, the one and only Eamon Kent here giving me a hand as well. He's the top nicest of the chuckles. By far. Yeah, turn down the Chunks York. I don't know if you can see changes that have come over me. These last few days I've been afraid I might drift away. I've been telling old stories, singing songs, makes me think about where I come from. That's the reason why I feel so far away. I've kissed the girls and I've left them sighing, stolen dreams now there's no denying. I've travelled hard sometimes with conscience flying, somewhere with the wind. Let me tell you that I love you, I think about your life. Caledonia, you're calling me, now I'm home. If I should become a stranger, though it would make me more than sad. Caledonia, feel like I'm sitting here before the fire, and the engine room, the forest choir, and the flames have cooled, but they're any higher. They're withered now, they've gone. And I'm standing thinking my way is clear. I know what I will do tomorrow. When the hands are shaking, the kisses fall, and I will disappear. Let me tell you that I love you, I think about your time. Caledonia, you're calling me, now I'm home. going, give me a small bean back and the looks there with you. Yeah. Not that I want to hear myself, but just to hear the lads. I waited for you, say you love me, say you love me. This is a song that Desi Holland wrote. So I want you to turn to the person beside you now, look into their eyes and say, I love you. Even if she had the same dress on you, the last wedding you were at. Thank you, Papa. And singing the chorus. Will you sing the chorus as well? Or the things that were going through my head on Good Friday night, so no. Didn't write that. What do you think? That's yeah. By the deep pool, where the fish wait for that old fool with the wrong bed. There's a field of purple clover, there's a small cloud passing over, and the rain comes washing clean in the summer of my green. See the raindrops on the grass now, like diamonds lying there by the old road where I pass now. There's a twilight in the air as the sun sets down before me. I see my true love waiting for me, standing by that old spring in the summer of my green. In the shade of this old tree, in the summer of my dreams, by the tall grass, by the wild rose, by the trees dance and the wind blows, as the days go so slowly, as the sun shines, oh so holy on the gold and gracious green in the summer of my green. I've got you a lovely audience. I said to myself coming up the road, and I think I might have said it to you as well.
You did?
It's going to be a lovely crowd up in that audience. Did I say that?
He said there's going to be a lovely crowd there tonight.
That's what I said. But John Prine wrote a song about when his mother was not so well and she was in the hospital and she was a bit shocked and things that she didn't know what he was saying and he didn't know whether she could hear him or not. He wrote a song called Hello in there, and it was very suitable for me when my own mother was in the hospital and she was a bit shocked as well, and she was you wouldn't know whether she could hear you or not. And it reminded me of this particular song called Hello in there, how we don't know or maybe give enough respect sometimes to the older people. It says, God, give me that kind of thing. Anyway, it's a beautiful song, and it tells the story about John and his mother, and I suppose everybody and their mother when they start failing. We had an apartment in the city. We knew a letter like even there. 20 years since the kids have flown, a life on their own, they left us alone. John didn't live in the normal. Joe is somewhere on the road. We lost Davy in the Korean War. Still don't know what for. Doesn't matter anymore. sits and stares to the back door screen. All the news just repeats itself like some forgotten dream that we will see. Someday I'm going to call Rudy. We walk together in the factory. What'll I say if he asks what's new? Nothing much for you, nothing left to do. You know there are no trees, just grow stronger. Old rivers grow wider every day. Old people just go lonesome, waiting for someone to say hello there, hello. Down the streets of time, you spot some hollow, ancient eyes. Please don't stop and by and stare, as if you didn't care. Say hello there, hello. You know there ain't no trees, just grow stronger. All rivers go wider every day. All people just closer, waiting for someone to say hello there, hello, hello there, hello. Listen to that one. Great song. Oh, come tell me, Sean O'Farrell, tell me why he so. Oshabucal hush and listen, and his cheeks all aglow. I bear orders from the captain, get you ready and slow. Have your pike upon your shoulder at the rising of the moon, at the rising of the moon, at the rising of the moon. Have your pike upon your shoulder at the rising of the moon. Oh, tell me, Sean O'Farrell, where the gathering is to be, at the old by the river, right well known to you and me.
we don't let him do one or two things tonight.
He must be looking for something. He's all
Yes, he's
compliments
looking for
tonight.
money or anything. So I do give Tom and we all a nice big round of applause up here behind us. He's probably without the light. He's been a hobble lad. Oh, like you be. No, you can't tell any story Good Friday night. I don't have an anyway, I'm all forgotten.
Right, we'll do Saturday. The Pigeon on the Gate, Fred Fens, and the last one is The Boys of Elsa there. E minor.
For you will rise up from the clear daylight till the dawn. And I'm afraid you won't be able to blow the rocks on. I'll be cursed upon you, sweet, while you have me nearly round. You're sitting by the fireside with your brooding and your love. You're sitting by the fireside from the clear daylight till the dawn. I'm afraid you won't be able to blow across the sun. My shoes they are all worn out, my stockings they are done. My heart is always trembling for fear I might be given. My heart is always trembling from the clear daylight till the dawn. And I'm afraid I won't be able to blow the rocks on. Go rise up, gallant sweet, and feed your horses air, and give the lad go feed the boats before they start their day. Don't feed the mounds of southern knobs, let them out of young green lawn, or they never will be able to blow the rocks on. I wish the Queen of England she did write to me in time to place me in some regiment all in my youth and prime. I would fight for Ireland's glory from the clear daylight till the dawn. And I never would return again for to blow the rocks upon. I would fight for Ireland's glory from the clear daylight till the dawn. And I never would return again for to blow the rocks upon. Thank you very much. One more downstairs when we have the second half. Don't forget the wrapper. That blue sheet sweat.
Piece of art. And I'll ask Tom and Michael to unveil it, and you'll see exactly what it is that we want you to invest in. And if you could, be as generous as you can, because this is our masterpiece. So you can have a look at it through the break. It's a unique piece. It's pretty expensive, but we don't do things by half in this parish. We wanted it to be something that would last forever and that reflected best what it is that we would wish for. That's it. It'll be in situ, please God, next Sunday evening. More about that later, but let you go and have a cup of tea, and there'll be tickets on sale during the interval, and the ticket monies will defray some of the costs of the night. For how much and part of the show is featured act in Dunstan. So would you please put your hands together and give a rousing welcome to Sean Dunn.
red crowd again outside of Humane with heads all up and elves on the ground. Behind those grim walls was a brave Irish soldier. His life for his country was forced to lay down. The life that was hoisted, their cruelties ended, departed one who loved Ireland so well. There was many sad heart in Dublin that morning, and the murder James Condy, the Irish rebel. Long years have now passed since the Irish rebellion, and the guns of Britannia so loudly speak. Our brave Irish soldiers fought shoulder to shoulder, and the blood from their body rolled down Stanford Street. Long years have now passed since the Irish rebellion, the guns of Britannia so loudly speak. And our brave IRA fought shoulder to shoulder, and the blood from their body rolled down Stanford Street. Oh, Cushing, proud of England, you cruel hearted murderer, your folly would shame all the devils in hell. No flowers are blooming, but the shamrock is growing on the grave of James Condy, the Irish rebel. On the grave of James Condy, the Irish rebel. Thank you. Just thought I got my name. This is one just to keep it. This one kind of fast. The one called The Circle. Well, I was standing by my window on a cold and cloudy day when I saw the hearse come rolling for to take my mom away. On and moon of old, as the sun was setting for the bright bells of Shelby, a rebel hand that the heather blazing in brought the neighbors from far review, and Father Murphy from old Killarney stirred up the rocks with a warning cry, on army flag. I have come to lead you for Ireland's freedom. We'll fight and die. We led the song against the coming soldier and the cowardly omen. We fought the fight without the harbor, the boys of Wexford to rule these regiments. Our men should fight, struck out for ironing, bring gold to England, their every kingdom where reeds reign, and Father Murphy from the county of Wexford sweeps over the land like a mighty wave, and then within all the planets mighty, our heroes brave fought back to back, and the nose of dawn took Father Murphy to burn his body upon the rack. You glory, brave Father Murphy, and love in heaven with all your might. The ones that call you my floating marvel in another fight for the breeze again.
Thanks very much, Sean. Outstanding as always. Right, we have two young gentlemen, one from the village here, Kane, and we have his good friend and colleague, what's his first name? Jackson. And they're going to do two lovely pieces, and then we will have our next featured guest. So Don is still having a cup of tea in the back, but I want you to welcome on stage Dan and Dylan.
Yeah, this song is called The Lakes of Pontchartrain. You probably know it. It was on one bright March morning, I paid New Orleans adieu, and I took the road to Jackson Town, my fortune to you. I can't stall foreign money, no credit could I gain, which filled my heart with longing for the lakes of Pontchartrain. We stepped on board punch train. She took me to her mommy's house and she treated me right well. The hair upon her shoulders in jet black ringlets fill to try and paint her beauty. I'm sure it would be in vain. So handsome was my Creole girl by the lakes of Pontchartrain. She says it could never be, for she had got her and he was for its sake. She said that she would wait for him until that she remained. So he returned to his Creole girl by the lakes of Pontchartrain. So fare thee well, my bonny girl, I never will see you no more. But I'll never forget your kindness in the cottage by the shore. And I so shall gathering the flowing glass I'll drink. And I'll drink a health to my Creole girl by the lakes of Pontchartrain. A hungry feeling came o'er me stealing, and the nights were stealing in my prison cell, and the old triangle where jingle jangle all of the Royal Canal. To begin the morning, the scurry was bawling. Get up, you old bowsy, and clean up yourself. Well, the old triangle where jingle jangle all of the Royal Canal.
guest, our next actress, is going to perform something spectacularly lovely, and it's a lovely poem called Mother. And this person, I have to say, if there's one individual that deserves a lot of credit for the contribution that she has made to this parish, it's our next guest. She's going to perform this, and Michael Tuttle here in the background will do some nice instrumental piece. I want you to put your hands together for Annette Murray, one of our own, a great creation.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I feel very honoured to be in this distinguished lineup, and I don't know how I will measure up to the acts that have come before me, but shall I do my best? I'm raising the flag for the mothers. Patrick Pearse wrote the following poem to give his mother, Margaret, some comfort and solace after the rising. He knew that his involvement and that of his brother Willie in the rebellion would see them die for their country. When he was writing this, he was trying to get inside his mother's mind and voice the feelings that he thought would engulf her when that day came. This is the voice of Pearse's own mother, yet it speaks for all the mothers torn between grief and joy. It reflects the emotion that every mother feels when a son or daughter leaves the family home to join the army and goes on a peacekeeping duty overseas. 100 years on, this poem still expresses the suffering of the human hearts of the mothers of Ireland on the deaths of their young. In that 100 years, many things, and an awful lot of things, have changed in this country. But this sense of loss in the hearts of our mothers remains constant. The Mother, by Patrick H. Pearse. I do not grudge them, Lord. I do not grudge my 2 strong sons that I have seen go out to break their strength and to die. They enter few in bloody protest for a glorious thing. They shall be spoken of among their people. The generations shall remember them and call them blessed. But I will speak their names to my own heart in the long nights. The little names that were familiar once round my dead hearth. Lord, thou art hard on mothers. We suffer in their coming and their going. And though I grudge them not, I weary of the long sorrow. And yet, I have my joy. My sons were faithful, and they fought.
Put your hands together and welcome Don Stiff, a great.
What are you doing, folks? Are you alright? Enjoying the night? Very good. Oh, I wish I had 3 kids here with me, but I have 2 kids. Niece-in-law, so fair play to them for coming. Okay, so it's been a fantastic night, kind of emotional in a sense as well. And I'm going to try and do some songs pertaining to the weekend that we have, and maybe to go back a couple of years to see what incensed way we had people to rebel and to leave their homes, and to what infused them. I see Nori there was singing a lovely song about the children that were killed in 1916. If you go back to the time of the famine, which probably incensed a lot of the young people that went out to fight in the 1916 rebellion. And it reminds me of just the poem I heard about the mother and the women. The women, it was lovely to see the show starting with the women and the girls. And you know, the proclamation said Irish men and Irish women, but they didn't really, the women were forgot after a couple of years when the rising was over. Some of them went to look for pensions and they didn't get them because they were told they couldn't be soldiers, because it wasn't allowed to be a soldier if you were a woman. So I want to go back to 1847 to an event that happened in Galway, where a young child of 6 years of age, the first child ever to be noted, where there was an inquiry in Ireland to a little child, to someone that died during the famine. And her name was Celia Griffin. She was from Ross near Corndura in Upterard, and she came into Galway with her. She came up to Galway with her parents and her family, 8 of her family, to try and get some pickings, and maybe they had a little bit of money to get a boat to America, but things didn't work out that way for the poor unfortunate. She ended up going to the Presentation Convent in Galway, where her little life passed away. And I was asked a couple of years ago to write a song for the opening of the Celia Griffin Memorial Park in Salt Hill. And so I'm going to sing it for you now. I haven't sang it in public maybe only once before, and I think the night is appropriate to sing it here tonight. Maybe this reflects why people rose and got up and felt they had to do something. Oh, I don't know what you look like. I only know your name. There isn't any photographs, just a vision of your head. And just like all the other girls, you love to run and play, but you didn't get a chance to live, for your life was stolen away. And little Celia Griffin, she was only 6 years old. 'Twas hunger that took her life, now her story can be told. And she fell on the street in Galway, her young life faded away. Today you can see her monument looking out on Galway Bay. And she walked from Connemara, and the road been cold and long, and her family, they were with her as the birds sang nature's song. And her journey was getting shorter, and the ship was near to sail, but she didn't get that chance to live, for her life it was very frail. And little Celia Griffin, she was only 6 years old. It was hunger that took her life, now her story can be told. She fell on the street in Galway, her young life faded away. Today you can see her monument looking out on Galway Bay. And they took her to the convent, and they took her from the street, not fit for food or water, or to stand upon her feet. Oh, the hunger, it was over, and the agony all can infuse people. If people think of what happened during the famine, and maybe that might cause people to rise up and rebel and want their own country and that kind of stuff. So people talking about Roger Casement and Bannistrando and Kerry, but I suppose a lot of people don't realise that most of the guns that was on the boat that came from Germany were coming to Gort actually, and they were to be distributed around the county here, parts of Lochray and Athenry, and back to Connemara as well. That, you know, people think Roger Casement, and you know, you have to think Roger Casement was he was in the British Army, and we have to think of these things. A lot of the people that were involved in the 1916 Rising, there were a lot of them were Church of Ireland people, and they weren't Catholics and all that. So you know, you have to have a broader mind, in my opinion, anyway. So the story behind that is a song called "The Lonely Bannistrand." We'll try that. 'Twas a Friday morning, all in the month of May, a German ship was signalling beyond out in the bay. We have 20,000 rifles all ready for to land. No answering signal did come from the lonely Bannistrand. No answering signal from the shore, Sir Roger sadly said. No comrades here to meet me, alas, they must be dead. But I must do my duty, at once I need to land. So in a small boat rowed ashore to the lonely Bannistrand, and the RIC were searching for Sir Roger high and low, and they found him at the Kane's fort. Says they are our foe. Says he, I'm Roger Casement, and I come to my native land. I mean to free my countrymen on the lonely Bannistrand. They took Sir Roger prisoner and sailed for London town. And in that tower they made him a traitor to the crown. Says he, I'm Roger Casement, and his trial had to stand for bringing German rifles to the lonely Bannistrand. 'Twas in an English prison that they laid him to his rest. I'm dying for my country, he said with his last breath. They buried him in British soil, far from his native land, and the wild winds call his requiem on the lonely Bannistrand. They took Sir Roger home again in the year of 65, and with his comrades of 16 in peace and tranquilized. And his one last wish is for this, to lie in his native land, and the wild waves roll in peace again from the lonely Bannistrand. And the wild waves roll in peace again round the lonely Bannistrand. do tonight, but I suppose it's a very historical week we're in. It's probably not the actual week of the Rising, but it is Easter, and we have to wait till another couple of weeks to get the actual 100th anniversary. But we take it as it is anyway. Easter is Easter, and it's nice to be in a lovely community hall in our own county, and a Good Friday night. So this is another little song that pertains to in between the Rising and between the War of Independence, which a song that was written by a man called Sean McCarthy. And when I was young, my dad used to have a cassette and an 8-track at home, but also a cassette for the car, with the lovely tape called The Wandering Man, and that was the tape Sean McCarthy had out at the time. And he wrote some great songs, but this one tells the story of he was picking potatoes in West Limerick, himself and a friend of his, and they went into the farmer that night, and the farmer was a very quiet man, but they were near the end of picking the potatoes and they were heading off the next day, and so one of them had a bottle of whiskey, and as you do in Ireland, they start drinking the bottles, supping away, taking down the bottle and the glasses, and it was a beautiful picture of this woman on the wall over there, the Sacred Heart picture, and Sean McCarthy said to the farmer, "Who's this lady?" And he didn't answer it at all, he didn't talk about it. But by the time the bottle of whiskey was drank at the end of the night, he told them the story about who the lady was, and his relationship with her, and how there was a little boy involved, and that little boy was lost over and around on a hillside in West Limerick. And Sean McCarthy went and 10 years later wrote this beautiful song in New York in an apartment, a song called Shannon. Oh, the cold winds from the mountains are calling soft to me, and the smell of scented heather brings bitter memories. And the wild and lonely eagle up in the summer sky flies high o'er Shannon, where my young Willie lies. I met him in the winter time when excited when we come to do something like this because it's out of the norm for me because we're going from fast songs and disco songs and stuff like that. So I just said tonight try and keep it a bit to 1916 and then another song that I have. We're putting a little album together at the minute called 14 Souvenir Songs. We're doing a concert in the Town Hall Theatre at the end of next month, the end of April, actually, the weekend. So Pat Kane, a good friend of mine, and William Henry, who's a historian in Galway, would have a little show and readings of poetry and songs and stuff. So if you're interested, we tried to do some of the classic songs. And this one goes down kind of to Munster, the south of the country, where there was a lot of flying columns. I'm sure a lot of you heard of the station in Mcdonough and all the kind of things in Danbreen. And this is about the flying column in Tipperary near the Galtee Mountains. We had Sean Hogan and Danbreen, Sean Tracy, Sean Wyman. They were very active at the time. And it evolved from 1916. These flying columns were put together. They were looking for the best volunteers they had to fight the British occupants at the time. So this is one of the songs we have recorded. So it's a song called The Galtee Mountain Boy. I joined the flying column in 1916 in Cork with Shawnee Moylan and Tipperary with Danbreen. Arrested by free skaters and sentenced for to die. Farewell to Tipperary, said the Galtee mountain boy. We climbed the hills and valleys and over the hilltops green, where I met with Jenny Lacey written actually a couple of years ago, but it's come to fore again. This is a song that I've actually changed the name of the song, would you believe it, on the advice of a couple of people. It was Kane and Citizens Kane had a lovely 2 concerts over the Christmas there in the Clare Hotel. Fantastic night. You for anyone for next year, get booking your tickets because it's a great whole night. Last year I was doing a couple of concerts with the Kilfenora Kane band over the last couple of years, and I've been down in Wexford doing a gig with them, and I was looking on Facebook and I said that there was a commemoration for mother baby homes in Sean Ross Abbey and Ross Gray. I just looked at that and I said, God, that's on the way home, so I wonder when I'm going to have a look at that or whatever. So I got in my car the next morning and headed off for Galway, so I said I'll stop in Ross Gray for another cup of coffee. So I went into the garage and had a cup of coffee. Now we'd done the concert the night before. It was a beautiful church down in Wexford, and just I was coming out, I was sitting in the car and I was saying, when I go over and have a look at this place, I will just go home. So I was sitting there, I said I'll go home. I got the cup of coffee, finished it, went over to the bin, threw the cup, and heading back to the car, I heard this horn blowing, which is that couldn't be for me, no, not that famous, right? That's great. But anyways, when the priest from the night before is on his way up, he had a brother living in Galway, and he used to come up that way, so he got down, he said, what are you doing here? I said, I just stopped for a cup of coffee, but like this, he said, I'm heading away now. So I said, actually, it's not why I stopped. I said, there's a convent over there, and I said, I was born there 48 years ago, and I've never been back there. And I said, I'd love to go inside the gate just to say a prayer. I said, what do you think? But he said, look, you should do whatever your heart tells you. If you want to go, go, and if you don't, don't. So previously, years before that, I had written a song about myself and my mother. It's amazing how we're talking about mothers tonight. And this was a song that when I came in one day, my mother was very down in the Dolphins, and if you knew her now, she'd be very feisty. She'd let go of 2 barrels if you came in the door with a woman in her 80s, but at the time she said, God, you're very, very... So she said, look, someone told me that you found your real mother. She said, I'm delighted for you. She said, but I thought you'd tell me first. And I said, man, that really didn't happen, so I took them. Wrote a little poem, making down, and I sang this song to her. But that day when I went into Ross Gray, I decided to go inside the gate. I walked over and I asked the member of the cemetery, and he said, it's down the road there, just turn into the right. But he said, there's a commemoration going on. I said, I don't want to go to that, I just want to go to the graveyard. So I went down and went into the graveyard, and the first little grave I seen inside the wall was Michael Hess. And Michael Hess, if any watched the programme Philomena on St. Patrick's Night, was the son of Philomena Lee. He was Anthony, was her boy, but when he went to America, he was sent from the home there, he was adopted. And to make a long story short, he had been coming back for a couple of years looking for his mother. And his mother had been coming back to the Abbey, Sean Ross, to the convent looking for him. And Mother Hildegard didn't tell any of them, both of them were looking for each other. So I thought it was very sad. But as I turned away from the graveyard to come out over the little style, there was a woman standing there, she said, hello, I said, hello. She said, well, I said, we'll say a prayer up there. She said, I think you're standing at the grave. She said, that's my son's grave. She said, Anthony, Michael. And she said, I'm Philomena Lee, and I'm over for the Commemorations. So I told her my story that I was born there, and back there. It was the first time I was back. So she said, come on down here to the Commemoration with me. And the rest is history after that. So that's the story behind the song. So I'm now calling the song, You'll Always Be My Mother. I hope you have a fantastic night for the rest of the evening. I'm very, very thankful to the committee and everyone to invite me over here tonight on a very, very special occasion. This night will never happen ever again. So for everyone that's here tonight, fair play to you for turning out, and all the musicians and all the volunteers. So I'll leave you on that one. You'll always be my mother. Good night, God bless. I still remember the day I came in, and you were looking so sad. I knew you'd been talking to someone, and they had hurt you real bad. To upset you was something real hard to do, because you're And for me to know it's not true, it's the person who told you is the one that is hurt, because they're probably just jealous of you. Now I never went drinking, but it oft crossed my mind, and I sometimes think of the other. But deep down inside this heart of mine, you'll always be my mother. You said somebody told you I found my real man. You were glad, but you didn't mind. It just hurt you that somebody else had to tell you. You thought I'd tell you myself in time. And often I think what this world would be like if we all were to listen to tales. Love would be torn, and hearts would be broken, and true friends would be like blunt nails. And the people who gossip and who need an old chat and taking blood from people they're fond. So that talk that went on about me and my man has made our love a much stronger bond. He said somebody told you I found my real man. You were glad, but you didn't mind. It just hurt you that somebody else had to tell you. You thought I'd tell you myself in time. You thought I'd tell you myself in good time.
Would you like to hear one song between or with Matt and Domsday?
Yeah. Good man, Matt. I thought Matt was gone. Jesus, you had to say. Fair play for you.
I was listening to you, Dad. I'm learning stuff from you every day.
Well done. Myself and Matt used to be drinking dirty black porter.
I know.
In Taft. Many, many, many years ago. On Good Friday night when I was. Oh, sorry. But we used to sing this little song from Johnny Hall when we'd be rightly in them. And so it's a little song called Lyric from Dunmore. And you know what singing it? Old and fair, the dwell, sweet Aniva, the roses and the door. I'm crossing the main ocean
down on an abstract. Jim was a man.
I know you will. That's right.
We have two right capitalists too. Both of us have CDs, loads of them at home, and we didn't bring one.
Matt doesn't have a new CD, by the way. He was over in Tune the last night selling them, and he wasn't charging for them. He was just charging a tenner for design them. Good one.
That's right. We did have the together. The summertime has come, and the trees are sweetly blown, and the wild mountain thyme rolls around the river. Everybody sing that. And we all go together to the wild mountain thyme, all around the flying to love, she was gone. I will surely find another to the quiet mountain thyme, all around the blue land. Will you go, lassie?
It's your turn now.
And we all go together to the wild mountain thyme, all around the blue lassie? Column on the mantle.
I love town on the crystal fountain, and on it I will build all the flowers of the mountain. Will you go, lassie?
I'd like to give a big round of applause to all the Raptors here tonight. And especially those in the poems and the recitations were fantastic. And our MC and our choir, we should be very proud of him, that is behind this totally. And he's gone to an awful lot of functions all over the county but he had plenty of time to look after Abbeyknockmoy. Mr. Pete Rose.
And a sincere warm welcome to each and every one of you that have taken the time to be with us. We're getting off pretty much on time as we had suggested we would. We're, I suppose, confined to the elements of the weather, but for now we're going to proceed with our evening ceremony. It behoves me to say, you know, that we have people here representative of every end of the parish of Abbeyknockmoy, and it's an extremely big occasion for ourselves. This is an idea that we came up with a number of weeks ago. I have to genuinely express my thanks to a select committee that came up with the plan. Friday night was the first phase of it, and this evening is the second offering, as it were, Abbeyknockmoy's contribution to the commemoration 1916-2016. We have public representatives here. I won't name them, just to say thanks for being here, and you're very, very welcome to this occasion. I know that the grass pretty near here is wet, but you know, if you stay on the periphery, it's reasonably dry, and I want you to enjoy the ceremony. The first thing I'd like to do is to invite Kane, our local great singer, a very successful singer, to lead us into this evening's events, and then we will have a short blessing of the plaque by Father Joe O'Brien.
I will ask my God to let me make my heaven in that dear land across the Irish Sea. I will ask my God to let me make my in that dear old land across the Irish Sea.
Nana Manahar, agus an Vic, agus an Spirit Neve. Amen. On this Easter Day of new beginnings, we remember and commemorate the men and women and children of 1916. Solas na Vlachas da Nanamaka. O God of truth and justice, we hold before you those whose memory we cherish and those whose names we will never know. We give thanks for all the courageous, visionary people of Ireland who dare to hope and dream of a brighter tomorrow for our country and all its citizens. This generation of vision and freedom remembers you and your dream as we honor you with the blessing and unveiling of this memorial plaque. Now we pray. We remember the people of the past. We pray quietly for a moment. We pray for all who died in 1916 and for all those who have suffered in the troubles of the past century. And we pray for peace and reconciliation in the century that stretches before us. And your response is, may all the peoples praise you, O God. May all the peoples praise you, O God. O God, be gracious to us and bless us, and let your face shine on us. May all the peoples praise you, O God. May the peoples praise you, God. May all the peoples praise you, for you rule the world with justice and guide the nations of the earth. May all the peoples praise you, O God. The land has yielded its harvest. God, our God, has blessed us. May God still bless us to the ends of the earth. May all the peoples praise you, O God. Now we sprinkle with the holy water. May the God of peace be with us, taking away our fears and doubts. And may the comfort of his peace cover those of us who are troubled or anxious. May the blessing of peace be upon us. Amen. Lord the Nahar agus Nuach agus in spirit ni, mar vir hús mar tágs mar veskebar to seal and seal. Amen. The gat dine atá balia an seo an lá speisialta seo agus I ngá áitinéireann go raibh sonas sláinte agus siocán nin. Molo go jo le dia. Nana Nahar agus an Vic agus in spirit ni. Amen.
Public na Héireann, the Provisional Government of the Irish Republic, to the people of Ireland. Irish men and Irish women, in the name of God and of the dead generations from which she receives her old tradition of nationhood, Ireland, through us, summons her children to her flag and strikes for her freedom. Having organised and trained her manhood through her secret revolutionary organisation, the Irish Republican Brotherhood, and through our open military organisations, the Irish Volunteers and the Irish Citizen Army, having patiently perfected her discipline, having resolutely waited for the right moment to reveal itself. She now seizes that moment, and supported by her exiled children in America and by gallant allies in Europe, but relying in the first of her own strength, she strikes in full confidence of victory. We declare the right for the people of Ireland to the ownership of Ireland and to the unfettered control of Irish destinies to be sovereign and indefeasible. The long usurpation of that right by a foreign people and government has not extinguished the right, nor can it ever be extinguished except by the destruction of the Irish people. In every generation, the Irish people have asserted their right to national freedom and sovereignty. 6 times during the past 300 years that they've asserted in arms. Standing on that fundamental right, and again asserting it in arms in the face of the world, we hereby proclaim the Irish Republic as a sovereign, independent state. And we pledge our lives and the lives of our comrades in arms to the cause of its freedom, of its welfare, and of its exaltation among the nations. The Irish Republic is entitled to, and hereby claims, the allegiance of every Irish man and Irish woman. The Republic guarantees religious and civil liberty, equal rights and equal opportunities to all its citizens, and declares its resolve to pursue the happiness and prosperity of the whole nation and of all its parts, cherishing all the children of the nation equally, and oblivious of the differences carefully fostered by an alien government, which have divided a minority from the majority in the past. Until our arms have brought the opportune moment for the establishment of a permanent national government, representative of the whole people of Ireland, and elected by the suffrages of all her men and women, the Provisional Government, hereby constituted, will administer the civil and military affairs of the Republic in trust for the people. We place the cause of the Irish Republic under the protection of the Most High God, whose blessing we invoke upon our arms. We pray that no one who serves that cause will dishonour it by cowardice, inhumanity, or rapine. In this supreme hour, the Irish nation must, by its valour and discipline, and by the readiness of its children, to sacrifice themselves for the common good, prove itself worthy of the august destiny to which it is called. Signed on behalf of the Provisional Government, Thomas J. Clark, Sean McDermott, Thomas Mcdonough, P.H. Pearce, Eamon Kent, James Connolly, and Joseph Plunkett.
Eamon Kent. Eamon Kent was born Edward Thomas Kent in the Peace Barracks at Ballymoe, County Galway, on the 21st of September 1881. The son of James Kent, an officer in the Royal Irish Constabulary, and his wife, Joanne Galway. Eamon was deeply interested in Irish cultural activities, especially music. In 1899, he joined the Central Branch of the Gaelic League, where he met Patrick Pearse and Owen McNeill. He became a fluent Irish speaker and adopted the Irish form of his name, by which he was always known afterwards. Prior to the Rising, Kent was an employee of Dublin Corporation. He was co-founder of the Irish Volunteers, partaking in the successful Howth gun-running operation of 1914. His involvement in Republican activities was complemented by his interest in Irish culture, especially the Irish language and history. He was an accomplished uilleann piper, playing for the Pope in Rome in 1908. He was a frequent visitor to his home county of Galway and to Connemara to master his use of Irish. As commander of the 4th Battalion of the Irish Volunteers during the Rising, he took possession of the South Dublin Union, modern-day St James's Hospital. Eamon Kent was executed on the 8th of May 1916 at Commemorations jail. Knowing that he faced the firing squad at dawn, he wrote his final letter to his wife Anya. "My dearest wife Anya," he began, "not wife, but widow, before these lines reach you. I am here without hope of this world, without fear, calmly awaiting the end. What can I say? I die a noble death for Ireland's freedom. Men and women will vie with one another to shake your dear hand. Be proud of me, as I am and ever was of you." Eamon Kent was proud to be a Galway man, and the people of Galway can be proud of the central role a Galway man played in the events of 1916.
Thomas James Clark. Thomas James Clark was born on 11th of March 1858 on the Isle of Wight off the south coast of England, where his father James Clark, an Irish sergeant in the British Army, was stationed. James was Church of Ireland, but Tom was reared in the faith of his mother Mary, who was Catholic. Clark's links with Clan Gael in America, where he lived for many years, Copper fastened his importance to the revolutionary movement in Ireland. He served 15 years penal servitude in England for his role in a bombing campaign in London, 1833-1898. He was treasurer of the Irish Republican Brotherhood and a member of the Supreme Council from 1915. The first signatory of the Proclamation of Independence through deference to his seniority in the nationalist movement, Clark was the first group that occupied the GPO on Easter Monday.
Pádraig Henry Pearse. Pádraig Henry Pearse was born 10th of November 1879 at 27 Great Bromwich Street, now Pearse Street, Dublin. The son of James Pearse, an Englishman with a stone carving business, and his wife Margaret Brady. Pearse's interest in Irish culture dated from his teenage years. In 1898, he became a member of the Executive Committee of Commemorations Gael. He graduated from the Royal University in 1901 with a degree in Arts and Law. Pearse's literary output was constant, and he published extensively in both Irish and English, becoming the editor of Canada Solace, the newspaper of the Gaelic League. He was a keen believer in the values of education and established two schools, Cláiste and Cláiste Ina, devoted to the education of the Irish children through the Irish language. Pearse came to Rossmuck in Connemara for the first time in 1903 as an inspector for the Commemorations Gael and fell in love with the area. He built a thatched cottage there and spent most summers there up until 1915. Pearse established groups of the volunteers in Rossmoke and in other areas of Connemara and was involved in training them. One of the founder members of the Irish Volunteers and one of the authors of the proclamation, Pearse was present in the GPO during the Rising and was the Commander-in-Chief of the Irish Forces.
Thomas Mcdonough. Thomas Mcdonough was born the 1st of February 1878 in Clogher, Jordan, County Tipperary, the son of Joseph Mcdonough and Mary Parker, both of whom were teachers. He grew up in a household filled with music, poetry and learning, and was instilled with love of both learning and Irish culture from a young age. Mcdonough was the first teacher of the staff at St. Inda's, the school he helped to found with Patrick Pearse. Mcdonough was well versed in literature, his enthusiasm and erudition earning him a position in the English department at the University College Dublin. His play, When the Dawn Has Come, was produced at the Abbey Theatre. He was appointed director of the training for the Irish Volunteers in 1914, later joining the IRB. He was appointed by the IRB Military Committee in 1916. He was commander of the 2nd Battalion of Volunteers that occupied Jacob's Biscuit Factory and surrounding houses during the Rising.
Joseph Mary Plunkett. Joseph Mary Plunkett, 1887 to 1916, was born 21st November 1887 at 42 Upper Street, Dublin, the son of George Noble Plunkett of Papal Count and his wife Josephine Cranach. Plunkett received his early education in England. He returned to Ireland, graduated from UCD in 1909, after which he spent 2 years travelling due to ill health. Plunkett shared Mcdonough's enthusiasm for literature and was an editor of the Irish Review. Along with Mcdonough and Edward Martin, he helped establish an Irish National Theatre. He joined the Irish Volunteers in 1913 and the IRB in 1914. During the planning of the Rising, Plunkett was appointed Director of Military Operations, with the overall responsibility for military strategy. Plunkett was based in GPO during the Rising. He married Grace Guilford while in Kane and Gael following the surrender.
James Connolly. James Connolly was born on the 5th of June 1868 at 107 Cowgate, Edinburgh, the son of Irish Catholic immigrants. John Connolly, a carter, and his wife Mary McGinn. Connolly first came to Ireland as a member of the British Army. The strong Irish presence in Edinburgh stimulated Connolly's growing interest in Irish politics in the mid-1890s, leading to his immigration to Dublin in 1896, where he founded the Irish Socialist Republican Party. He spent much of his first decade of the 20th century in America, returning to Ireland to campaign for workers' rights with James Larkin, a firm believer in the perils of sectarian division. Connolly campaigned tirelessly against religious bigotry. In 1914, Connolly was one to the founders of the Irish Citizen Army. During the Easter Rising, he was appointed Commandant General to the Dublin forces. Leading the group that occupied the GPO, unable to stand due to wounds received during the Rising, Connolly was executed. While sitting down, he was the last of the leaders to be executed.
Sean McDiarmid, John Joseph McDermott, 1883 to 1916, was born on the 27th of January 1883 in Cornamore near Kiltyclogher, County Leitrim. The son of Donald McDermott, a carpenter, and his wife Mary McMurrow. McDermott immigrated to Glasgow in 1900 and from there to Belfast in 1902. A member of the Conra na Gaeilge, he was acquainted with the Belfast nationalist and activist Bulmer Hobson. He joined the Irish Republican Brotherhood in 1906 while still in Belfast, later transferring to Dublin in 1908, where he assumed managerial responsibility for the IRB newspaper Irish Freedom in 1910. He was appointed to the Provisional Committee of the Irish Volunteers in 1913 and was subsequently drafted onto the Military Committee of the IRB in 1915. In May 1915, McDermott was arrested in Tuam under the Defence of the Realm Act for giving a speech against enlisting into the British Army. During the rising, McDermott served in the GPO.
Mishaire, Shad Don Le Park Pierce. Mishaire, Ishinime na Chailach Vera, More Maglor. Meerup Kuchalan Kroga, More Monada. Machlan Fain a Yelawad, More Mafian. Renavadit am a Hir Hippe, More Mavron. Degan down the Hermet Ochas, Mishaire. Isoignime na Chailach Vera.
We now call on the Cathaoirleach of the county, Peter Roach, to unveil the commemorative plaque.
Now we call on two of our greatest parish sports people to unveil or to raise the two flags, the Irish flag and the Abbeyknockmoy flag. And I call on Michael Coleman and Thomas Mannion to do so.
Easter Monday morning, 1916. Our country's bravest led the fight for Ireland's liberty. Men and women were hailed as heroes, no doubt it so should be. But did you know that 40 children died to set our country free? On Raushi they na gone in the night a heave. On Raushi they falling she wat nor a criak knee on Rowain the nag malunanum nor a fushid bosun lenai. last week in our history, but so many lost their lives. Some lie unnamed in unmarked graves, caught up in freedom's fight. But of all the tales I've heard about it, the most profound for me is that 40 little children died for the likes of you and me. Some innocently played on the streets as the bullets they rained down. Some young Fina soldiers, so staunch, so brave, so proud, and some were little toddlers or babes in mother's arms, taken without warning in the fight to save Ireland. Canoe lullaby, canoe lullaby, Dana Bosch the Afurba Sarah Sirsha. Though their hearts are forever gone, their memory must live on. Nodding Jarmath fui na posh the biaga. Canoe lullaby, canoe lullaby, canoe lullaby.
Thank you very much, Norrie. And that's a song that Norrie specifically composed or compiled for this year. And Norrie takes that to the Killarney next weekend, competing in the All-Ireland Championships. I would like to... we're nearly there, but there's a very special part of this evening's event still to come, and I want to invite one of our greatest parish historians just across the fields here, John Devan, one of our fittest, most, I suppose, he's full of intellect, a wealth of history and knowledge, and I would like to invite Woods here to do some instrumental music for us. Right, folks, you'll be very glad to know that we have come to the end of the formalities. Just one piece left, one musical piece left, but I want to, just by way of saying thanks to each and every one of you for making this evening special. It's a community project, and it'll be here for as long as we and others are around. And it's here in this very, I suppose, civic community for the people of the parish. And this plaque that we commissioned and that's unveiled today is our contribution, if you like, to the last 100 years, and to recognise and to acknowledge the contribution that the people made to this parish, and those that were enlisted at that time, and those that were volunteers and supporters of it. I want to express my genuine thanks to all of the people who did the orations, and for a lot of us, we learned something new this evening, because not every one of us were informed about the 7 signatories, where they came from and what they did. But I want to express my thanks to every single one of you for being here, and safe home, and Adrian will lead us out with the national anthem on the trumpet.
She was